So I wanted to pop in today and talk about something that is very dear to my heart, especially in this season of life, which is grief. I know the people who know me personally, they know that I've been going through a lot in life. It's kind of crazy. So when I first started the channel, I was in a different phase with the grief. And, things were kind of looking up and then things kind of went down. And that's how grief is. That's how life is. After I did the 30-day challenge, which was like, I'm so proud of myself for doing that because it really has given me the confidence to continue to pop in. But, I had to take a step back and kind of reground myself in the grief that I was experiencing. And something I've learned with our brains and rewiring our nervous system is that our brain is constantly trying to solve grief rather than just feeling all the feelings, which is such fucking hard work to do. It truly is. How much easier it is to distract ourselves, how much easier it is to have all of these things, trying to outsource our pain to somebody else, trying to put all the blame on someone else. All of these things is a way for our brain to not truly deal with the grief. And the reason is because this is rooted in something called predictive processing. Our brains are predictive machines. So they're constantly scanning to make sense of everything. But the problem is that grief isn't something to be solved, but our brain treats it like it is. So it starts asking in a very ruminating way, how do I fix this? How do I get back what I lost? What if I did something differently? Maybe if I just understand it and maybe if I just put a label on something, then the pain will dissipate. Maybe if I blame someone else, the pain will dissipate. The accountability will dissipate. But the problem is that life doesn't always put everything in a neatly tied little package, a little bow on top. I wish it did. Some things just don't have answers that our brain is searching for. But yet, that's where our rumination goes. It goes over and over and over again, trying to find the answers. Basically, trying to find certainty and exhausting ourselves trying to find that certainty. And one of the biggest tools that I teach in life coaching, but that I've had to reteach myself, is when I'm in those moments of rumination, I have to ask myself, am I grieving or am I trying to solve my grief? Now, don't get me wrong. There's a difference between understanding grief and trying to escape it. So years ago, when I left a high controlling religion, I desperately wanted to understand what was happening to me. And I think a lot of my audience will be able to relate to this. So I learned everything that I could about cults, the bite model, coercive control, cognitive dissonance, religious trauma. But the answers didn't erase my grief. They just helped me understand what happened. But understanding something intellectually is very different than allowing yourselves to actually feel everything. And no amount of neuroscience can make those tears flow. No amount of psychology can process that heartbreak for you. No amount of labels that we put on things can grieve the loss for you. 8 years ago, I left my religion, and I thought that was the deepest grief that I had ever had up until that point. And I've been through a lot in life. That all changed about 7-8 months ago. And it's been by far, I think, the hardest lessons that I've had in life. More like a heartbreaking, kind of soul-crushing lesson What happens when you lose somebody that you still deeply love? How do you even reconcile that in your head? Your brain still asks those same questions. Why? Was it me? Was it them? Trying to put the blame on them, taking all accountability for yourself, then trying to was it just wrong timing? Was it fate? Will we ever find our way back? And your brain is just ruminating and ruminating and ruminating, right? But your brain doesn't know the difference between a question that can be answered and one that may never get fully answered. If your brain believes that there's some sort of answer out there, then it believes it could protect you from future pain. That's why rumination can feel so compulsive. Your brain isn't trying to torture you. It's trying to keep you safe, which brings me to a saying that I heard. It said something like, our soul is heaven on earth and our mind is hell on earth. Now, whether you're religious or spiritual or not, that's not the point of that saying, because our minds can be incredible, right? They solve problems, they recognize patterns, they protect us. But when it is ruminating about grief, that's actually not protecting us. That's keeping us stuck. Because, uncertainty, let's face it, it can be really anxiety inducing. Which takes me back to thinking about when I left high controlling religion. I thought I had found freedom, right? I could finally celebrate holidays. I could explore my sexuality. I could make my own choices in life. But although I was still grieving the loss of family and friends and my identity in the religion and my faith and all of those things is very earth-shattering. But right, I had all this freedom, this newfound freedom. I thought I was going to be free. But you know where I was not free? My body had left, but my nervous system and my mind was still there. It was still trapped. And I think grief can feel similar in some ways. That's why some people can stay in grief for years and years after they lose a loved one, after some big loss has happened in their life. We spend so much energy trying to escape that uncertainty, trying to understand every detail, trying to predict the future or rewrite the past or understand the past and what ifs. And when we can't go back in time. So if all we're doing is expending so much energy on all of that, are we really allowing ourselves to fully grieve, to fully feel the sadness, the loneliness, the regrets, the disappointments, the anger that we feel towards them or ourselves? Are we not taking accountability for how we showed up or didn't show up? Because all of those emotions actually teaches us something. That's the silver lining in life that I've always tried to go by. I know it sounds cliche. But yeah, that is something that I ask myself when I find myself ruminating. Am I grieving or am I trying to solve my grief? And feeling your grief. I didn't know I was gonna cry. It's fucking hard work. Because truly feeling it means you feel all of it, right? You feel your love, you feel your disappointment in yourself, in them, or the situation. You're accepting it for what it is. You're accepting that there may not be an answer today. You're surrendering. And that's where our nervous system begins to change. Because when we stop demanding or trying to force answers to come into our existence and we just surrender, I think this is by far the furthest I have gone when it comes to the deep grief and accepting it for what it truly is and really feeling it in my nervous system and how much calmer I feel now. And not because the pain disappears, because I still have those waves of sadness or the loss of a future that I had planned and that I thought my life would look like. But I'm allowing my nervous system to not be in a constant state of threat. It's a wild place to be in when you're fully surrendered to the process. And again, going back to that saying, again, whether you're spiritual, religious, or not, I think soul could mean your intuition, how much different it feels to just be in alignment with your body, with your intuition, your soul, your nervous system, and allowing things to just flow. It feels a lot different to be in this place than it does to be in the mind. That mind it can get us in some trouble. Damn it. The mind is hell on earth, that's for sure. Anyway, that was my thoughts today. I wanted to share on grief, and that simple tool of just asking ourselves, are we grieving or are we trying to solve our grief?